Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's Natalie. I am playing with this die. Now I got this out of a D-stash. I don't know whose it is, but I'm also going to show you how to make a very similar product without the dots, but similar. I also have this stamp set from Hefty Doodle. It is called Get Well Greetings, and it has some beautiful little sentiments there. As you can see here, I've got a little bit of chipboard. This is just, honestly, I mean, it's harder for some people to get because, you know, they didn't do what I did, but I actually got it at the craft shop. Sometimes we get, you know, you get the thicker packs of 25 or 20 or 50 cardstock, and this would be in the back of it. So I've just stolen it. But you can easily use cereal packets, all that sort of stuff. This die actually has some cut lines. You do have to be a little bit careful doing this. You can obviously, especially when you're doing this by yourself, you can make your band-aids a little bit smaller than this. That's fine. But I'm just going around the edges. You can see here the orange one I've done, and this one I haven't. This is just giving it that padded look. You do have to be a little bit careful, which is what I was saying, but I didn't finish around the cut marks. They're not scored marks, but they're cut marks. Now, you can do this very simply without the die. Yes, you won't get the actual holes, but you could probably still do the same sort of thing. And I will show you. I'm just going to stamp my sentiment here. I've just sort of figured out where I was going to position everything. And I thought it might be nice with this running diagonally along the lines of one of the Band-Aids, or plasters, as my American friends call it, and my cousins and everything else. Just so you know, I've got the chipboard is cut to 1 inch squared. Yes, 1 inch square. I've got Calypso Coral, Coastal Gabbana, and Marina Mist. Now I think these are all, well, they're definitely older colours. I used to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I have some of the older colours, but you of course do whatever. Now my sentiment hasn't actually stamped terribly well, but we'll work that out, and actually I think it works out way better. I obviously put a little bit more pressure on the left hand side, so you know, learn from my mistakes, figure out that we will actually fix that anyway, and they are all glued down, so I'm just trimming off the edges because I don't want my great big band-aids hanging off the edge, but that's okay. I originally thought, so this is where I'm going to come back to that. So I've got my 1/2 inch square pieces of chipboard that I'm just layering them up, so I want a bigger padded area on my Band-Aid or plaster. You could use a 1/4 inch, but I prefer to use the 1/2 inch corner rounder on each of the corners. You're going to place this glue this chipboard into the middle of your Band-Aid. I'm just using my lines on my cutting pad board. What is it? Cutting mat, that's it. Words are hard. And making sure that's sort of roughly in the middle. I'm not going to be pedantic about it. I just obviously don't want it very visibly clear that it is to one side. I've gone around the edges. Sorry, that was my phone. Obviously gone around the edges, and that's going to leave you that Band-Aid look to it. So I'm going to glue this down onto some grey card base. I just felt that sort of brought the colours out that little bit more. You could leave it at this point, but because I wanted to fix that sentiment, and you should do this before you actually, you know, have glued everything down, that would be rather helpful. Firstly, I digress. I don't actually put a sentiment in my card bases very often, but obviously this time I did. And this is just the Sending Get Well hugs. I'm using my Misty for that. So generally, I think afterwards, after I did everything, I went, I don't like that. I need to cut it. So I have stamped another sentiment, cut it down, going to eyeball it roughly one edge of where I want it. The benefit of that is I can always always alter that a little bit, and then just using the cardstock on the other side to make sure that's straight. It wasn't as hard as I sort of thought it was, so maybe, just sort of try it and see what happens. I have some confetti sequins because I thought it needed something a little extra, especially now. Like, it's your card, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but I just decided I wanted a little bit more sparkle because we all like a little bit of sparkle. I'm adhering those down with some Paper Rose liquid glue, which I quite like, and I've just put that into a little squeezy bottle. That is pretty much my card for today. I hope you're well. I will leave a link down below to my blog post and you can see a couple of photos. And I look forward to talking to you very soon. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye.